Refilwe, Chilo, the smaller impact of climate change on rivers and wetlands.
Good morning, everyone. The small impact of climate change is not so small. Now, let us talk about the impact of climate change on our surface waters. Our surface waters include our rivers as well as our wetlands. Let's be honest, when you hear the words climate change, you roll your eyes and think, well, there's nothing I can do about it. That's because you think of the bigger picture. You think of wildfires, you think of droughts, the floods, and the ever-changing weather patterns. Guess what? That's not all there is to it. So my project focused on understanding the impact of climate change on surface water, and I used what is known as water beetles to do this. So water beetles and bugs are not the same thing. Take my word for it, there is a difference. So what I did is that I collected water beetles from our surface waters, took them to the Coramet UJ, and ran experiments in order to understand how they would respond to increasing temperature. So in order to do this, I increased the temperature of the environment that I placed these water beetles in, and I recorded how they respond to the increasing temperature to understand their response to the expected climate change of South Africa. So what did we find? We found that water beetles have limited tolerance to increasing temperature, and we also found that they would be negatively affected by climate change. What does this all mean? What can we do about it? So I came up with one of the mitigation measures, or one of the solutions is that do not look aside when water bodies or surface waters are being polluted. When there's initiatives that do river cleanups, go and assist and volunteer. Tell your friends that water bodies have these tiny insects in them that actually ensure that the water bodies are functioning so that you and I can continue to go canoeing, can go fishing, and can go swimming in these surface waters, which include our rivers. Side note, if your friend goes fishing, tell them that there's tiny insects in these water bodies known as water beetles that form part of the diet of fish. So it's all part of the bigger picture. And that is how you and I can address the small but big impact of climate change on our surface waters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, I'm excited because now it's zoology.
Awesome.
You said you started seeing changes in terms of temperature. So I wanted to know what is their normal temperature, where they are at their optimum best, and then when did you start seeing these changes or the differences at what temperature exactly? Thank you.
Okay. So I recorded 2 types of temperatures, their response. That's when they started getting uncomfortable. So that was like the onset of how much they can tolerate. So at times it would be around 30 degrees, 35 degrees, depending on the species that I'm looking at, because I looked at different species. But the main 2 families were Hydrophilidae and Dytiscids. So around 30 degrees and above, that's when they started getting uncomfortable with the temperature. Yes.
I just want to find out, how do you increase the temperature in your experiments, and were any beetles harmed in the process?
Okay, we have a machine called Grand EcoCool. That's when we are able to regulate the increasing temperature at a certain rate to ensure that we are not doing it manually. So it's automated, connected to a laptop to increase the temperature. And yes, no beetles were harmed because the method that I used is known as CTM. So as soon as you've done your recordings, you put them in a tank where they recuperate. Yeah, but there's casualties in every war.
All right, thank you very much. Interesting research, but I just want to find out in terms of your observation, what is it really? Because you observe certain phenomena, certain reactions, that what is it that you were observing, and what do those things that you were observing really mean in terms of the bigger picture of the whole study? Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. The observations that I took, and in terms of the bigger picture, remember that when it comes to climate change, we need to know how we can mitigate and manage. And in order to do that, we need to understand the threshold of certain species. So with climate change studies, you'll get to know that you cannot generalize the response of different animals or different species within a particular family of animals. That is why we need to understand up to what point can they tolerate increasing temperature. And the solutions that I suggested is one of the things, or some of the things that we can use. And also in terms of our climate change mitigation policies, we can be able to incorporate that. Thank you.